Yo, what is happening, guys? Welcome back to the Inspired Action channel. Of course, today we're doing something a little bit different. We usually do reactions, as we did. You can tell by title on the thumbnail. Post Malone, we did a reaction to his new album. We react to all the songs. We did like a full, hour and a half long video. I'll put it right here. So that is all the reactions. But today we're going to be doing a tier list, because I did the reaction I think a little over a week ago, maybe now, and I have been listening to his songs non-stop, constantly, just his album on repeat. And I decided, you know what, let me make a tier list for this album, because some of the songs that I loved originally and some of the songs that I didn't think was too good technically originally have kind of climbed and mixed and all that. There's not a song on this album I disliked, but there is definitely songs that I prefer to others, and I decided, you know what, let me do a tier list for it, because my opinion has changed on some songs, I guess, and we'll see how that goes. But hope you all enjoy, as always. Hope you all have an amazing day. If you're not, switch that shit the fuck around, start having an amazing day. Always trying to spread positive vibes, entertain, have fun on this channel, because that's what it's all about. It's all about the fun and the vibes. Now, let's get into the tier list. So before we actually get into the actual tier list, I will go over the tiers. We have S tier, which is the literal top, which is reloaded, reloaded, reloaded. The one that we will play over and over and over and over again, and you will reload constantly, consistently. It is the best songs in the album. That is S tier. Then we go to A tier, which is straight to the playlist. These are songs that aren't the tippity top of the mountain, but they aren't quite far off. These are the ones that you put on. They will be in repeat. They're not your favorites, but they ain't fucking far off, and they will be right on the playlist and stay there consistently, and you will never skip these songs. Then we move on to Beer, which is just alright. I said Beer. B, which is just alright. It's one of those songs, again, it's those songs that they're not your favorites, but you also don't dislike them. You'll listen to them, you think they're alright, you vibe out a little bit, but you won't put them first, and you won't choose them over all the other songs above. Then we got C tier, which is not my thing. These are the songs that I do not like. I just dislike them. I don't think they're good. Then we move on to D tier, which is literally trash, garbage. The songs that should never have released, came out, and ever seen existence. Ever. That is that tier, trash. But yeah, that's all the tiers right there. Without further ado, let's get into the tier list and start going. We're going to work from the top to the bottom. First up, we got Don't Understand. Now, when I originally listened to this, I liked it. I still do like it. It's one of those slower songs. I'm originally going to put it in B tier. It is alright. I think it is a good song, but you have to be in the mood for it. It's one of those songs that you can't just play constantly over and over again. You have to be in the mood for it. It is catchy, but as soon as you listen to it a couple times, you need a little bit of a break from it. Sorry, I almost fucking died by coughing to death there. Yeah, it is in B tier. It's a good song, but it's not the best songs, and you have to be in the mood for it, so it's going in B tier. Then next up, we got Something Real. Something Real is going in the A tier. It's going straight to a playlist because the flow is nice. The low flow switches, the chorus is great. It just sounds great overall. It's one of those songs that I feel like one of those songs that you do not skip on your playlist. It's not the top, but it's one of those songs you don't skip on your playlist. I feel like everybody vibes out at least a little bit to this song. The chorus is nice. I like the way he switches the flows, the way he has those different things. It's not the same thing throughout. I think it is a very catchy song, and it has been straight to playlist. It's been on repeat for me personally, and that's where it's staying. Then next up, we got Chemical. There's literally not much to say about Chemical. It's catchy as fuck. It's going straight in S tier. I don't know a person, like a fan of Post Malone, that does not like Chemical. Chemical is the one. When it released, it was constantly, every time I scrolled on TikTok and I seen anything to do with Post Malone, it was Chemical. Every single time, without fail. Literally, doesn't need explanation, not much to say. Chemical is S tier, plain and simple. Then we move on. We got Nova Candy. Now, I explained, this is one of my favourite songs. This was top 3 songs on the album. Obviously, some things has moved about since then. It is still one of my favourite songs in the album. It's going S tier. I love Nova Candy so much. I feel like it is one of the most popular songs. I love the way it starts from going very slow to fast. The beat rises. The vibe is just good about this song. And it's just, in the song, he just talks about not feeling anything better. He literally just sings about he can't feel anything better than this, and You can tell by the look on his face and that he's happy and he does all this. So like the vibe overall, the song sounds great, the chorus is great. I like the way it goes from very slow to fast. I like the switches, but I also just love the overall vibe of it. He literally is just having a good time, expressing that he's having a good time, and I think that's a vibe to fuck with. And I think that this is one of the most popular songs in the album for a lot of people for a good reason. So for that, it is staying and going in S tier. Next up, we got Too Cool to Die. Now, whenever I originally reacted to this in the album reaction, I remember saying that I wasn't a big fan of it. It was alright, but it wasn't as good as some of the other songs. And I originally would have put it in B tier. But I'm not going to lie, as I've said, the reason I'm doing the tier list a week later is I wanted to listen to the album on repeat consistently and see what kept, what lost the touch. Because you could find a song really catchy, you could listen to it for a week straight and never like it again. There's songs in this album, like Chemical, like Nova Candy, I've listened to constantly and they never get old. Too Cool to Die was one of those ones when I first listened to it, I thought, yeah, it's alright, it's good, but it's not as good as some of the other ones. So when I was thinking about this tier list, it's between high B and low A because it's still not as good as some of the ones that I have above it, but at the same time, it's kind of grew on me. So I think my final decision, I'm going to put it in the bottom of A tier. And the reason I'm going to put it in the bottom of A tier is it's catchy. The chorus is very catchy. It's one of those ones, like I said, the first time, it didn't quite hit. Where now, as I listen to it more, it started to grow on me, and it has been on the playlist, and it has been on repeat. So I'm actually going to put it in there. I'm going to put it straight to a playlist because that's the type of uh, attitude I have towards it now. It's one of those ones, it was an underdog, and then it creeped up on you. And, I kind of started going, you know what, this song is actually better than I thought. So that's where it's going. Then we move on to Sign Me Up. Sign Me Up, the flow on it, I fucking love. I feel like the reason this one is going to go where it's going to go is because everybody sings the chorus to it. Give me Post Malone, Sign Me Up in A tier, straight to a playlist. I feel like a lot of people will start thinking that is not in A tier. That's not one of the better songs. But the reason for this is I think, like I said, I like the flow. I like the catchiness. And this is one of these songs, like I said, everyone sings the chorus to it. The chorus is nice, the chorus is catchy, even if it's not one of your favourite songs off the album, even if it's one of those ones that is maybe 11th, 12th, or below that, you still sing the chorus to it. I feel like even if it's not your favourite song or one of them, you still sing the chorus, and that's why it's going to go straight to plays, because it's very catchy. I find myself fucking singing it constantly. It's on repeat in the playlist, so it has to be there, because I can't put it in alright, because it's better than alright. It's one of the better songs, just not the top. Next up, we got Social It. One of my favourite things about this song is the start of it, the verse, the in between. It's the way he has the couple lines. A has a couple lines. A, and it's like it kind of breaks it up. He doesn't say it all together. He has da 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 A da 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 A, and it like breaks it up. That sounds really good. Then whenever it gets to the actual chorus, the fuck me up part in the chorus just sounds amazing. You can hear his fucking passion in it. It's fucking sounds great. It's one of my favorite songs, 100% on this album. And I just can't picture people not singing it. And it just hits. Like, it just fucking hits. So it's going in A tier. It's going in A tier. It's staying in A tier. I think it's definitely one of the catchier ones. 100% one of my favorite personal ones. Then we move on to Post Malone Overdrive. Now this one is catchy. I like this one. It is very catchy. It has the chorus. It has everything. But the way I would describe it is, although it's catchy, I think I said this in the album reaction too, I don't think it sounds as good as it could. I think when I'm listening to it, it sounds good. I'm like, yeah, I'm vibing to it. But my two things is, I think it's good, but it's not as good as the songs in A tier. And I feel like if you went to a concert and he did it live, I feel like it would hit. I feel like I said that in my actual album reaction. It's one of those songs that at a concert, I feel like it would hit more live when the crowd's involved rather than just listening to it. That's one of those songs. So at a concert, I feel like it would be one of the best ones because I feel like the crowd would get involved. It would have that atmosphere. But just listening to it, still catchy song, still a good song, still a vibe. I just don't think it's as good as the ones I have in A tier, so I'm gonna have to put it in B tier for now. Like I said, good song, not a bad song, but I feel like definitely if I reacted to it live, I feel like live, if we were doing it based on how he performed it live, how the crowd got into it, just going off what I would assume, I feel like that might be an S tier. But just listening to it on my phone through my headphones, it's B tier. You know what I mean? It's B tier. Again, not a bad song, just not as good as some of the others. Next up, we got Post Malone Morning. Now, I literally do not have much to say about this. It's the same as Chemical. I don't have much to say about Morning. All I have to say is it's going in S tier. And if you're wondering why it's going in S tier, just go listen to it. Pause this video, go listen to it, and then come back. And that's why you'll see it's an S tier. I don't know if a lot of people's gonna agree with that, but I think it's definitely just, I don't know. I fucking love that song, man. It's one of those songs that I reacted to the video of it before I even like react to the album, and it's one of those songs that even whenever I reacted to the album and heard newer ones, it was still up there. I just feel like it's so catchy. It sounds so fucking good. I love the music. The music video made it too, but obviously we're not basing off that. But literally, if you ask me why is it an S tier, go listen to it, come back, and you will understand why I have it in S tier. That's my literal defense. I don't need to say much more. Then we move on to Speedometer. Now, when I first reacted to Speedometer, I thought it was one of those ones that course was catchy, it was alright. And my opinion hasn't really changed too much. Speedometer, I'm going to put in B tier. The reason it's going to go in B tier is the course itself. I am a big fan of the course itself. The fucking push speedometer part. That sounds really good. I really like that. But I'm not a massive fan of the verses and the parts around it, like the parts leading up to the course, the parts after the course. They're alright. They're not terrible. Again, it's a song that if it comes on, I'll vibe to it. But if I have a choice of all the songs, it's not going to be my first choice. Um, and I'm going to be honest, I've listened to it a few times lately, and I kind of just skip to the chorus part and listen to the chorus. I don't really listen to the parts around it too much because, again, like I said, not a big fan of them, but the chorus I'm a big fan of. If it just had a little bit of a different verse around it, I feel like it would be an A tier. But those verses, I just don't feel hold up as well as the chorus, and that's why it's going to have to go in B tier. It's going to go in alright. Catchy, but not consistently catchy. And that would be the best way to explain it, in my personal opinion. Verses just do the chorus. Verses aren't terrible verses, but the chorus is here, and that's why I gotta go down a little bit. Next up, we got Hold My Breath. Now, this song, what I fucking love about this song, right? The passion in Post Malone's voice when he's singing, the vocals as well. See the vocals, he exercised his vocals. I speak about this all the time, the way artists exercise their vocals, right? They exercise their vocals, and it sounds great. Literally, the vocals on this one are insane. The passion behind his voice adds to those vocals, and it's a really good song. I'm putting it in A tier. I think it's one of the better songs, but I think it's also one of the more passionate songs. I think if you took his passion out of it, I don't think it would have sounded as good as it did. But I think because he had so much passion, that added to the vocals. The vocals sounded great anyway, but with passion into that, it just hits that much harder, and that's why it's going on A tier. It's straight to the place. It's been on repeat. The passion behind it, 100%, fucking unbeatable. Really like it. Then next up, we got Post Malone, Enough Is Enough. Now, I feel, well, what I've seen at least, I feel like this is a lot of people's, not favourites, but one of their favourites. I feel like a lot of people have this one ranked very highly. I don't know why. I'm only joking. Because it's so fucking good. It's so good. You know, I had to make that clear whenever I said, "Oh yeah, no, I don't understand. I'm joking." I had to make that clear before there was a fucking rap. People love this song, and I love it too. To base explain this song, I flat out refuse, and I mean refuse, to believe that there are people that listen to this song and do not give 100% their all when it comes to the chorus. When it comes to the "Take Me Home" part, I 100% flat out refuse that people do not go fully for it, that they do not fully put their all into it when it comes to Take Me Home. And then on top of that, the catchiest part of the song, in my opinion, is whenever it gets to the little part where it's like he says about living in the city of sin. I pick fights that I won't ever win. But my favorite part is whenever he says, I'm shit faced sitting on the sidewalk, ain't nobody listening when I talk. That part, the chorus itself is amazing. No one listens to that and doesn't sing. And then that part on top of it just adds to it. And that is why Enough is Enough is honestly, I think everybody rates it very highly. It's one of everybody's favorites. It's going to S tier. It's one of the best in the album, in my personal opinion. It's one of those ones I've listened to more than any on repeat constantly, and the full song, not skipping between them, the entire full song over and over again. It is one of the best. It's an example of what Post Malone can literally do. A perfect example of his talent, and I fucking love it. So it's S tier for me. Next up, we got Post Malone, Texas T. This one, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. It's alright. It's not a bad song. Like I've said this before, like if it was a bad song, I'd say it was a bad song. If I thought it was trash, it'd be going in trash. If I thought it wasn't my thing, it would be going and wasn't my thing. It is not a bad song. I just think it is not as good as the other songs in the album. In my personal opinion, Texas T, and I know this is probably going to be controversial because I've seen a lot of people I know actually really like Texas T. I think Texas T is my least favorite song in the album. It's one of those ones, if it's on, I can vibe to it, but it's just not one of the first choices. And I don't think necessarily it's a bad song. I just think that all the other songs in the album, in my opinion, are so good, so catchy, have so much passion. The words mean something to the point where Texas T is, if you played it by itself, it's good. But if you compare it, like we're doing, to the other songs, I just don't think it hits the margin as they do. I'm not going to put it in Not My Thing because I still listen to it. If it wasn't my thing, I wouldn't listen to it when I listen to the album. It's going to go when it's alright because when I listen to the album, I don't skip the song, but I don't look forward to it as much as the others. So it's going to go when that's alright. Buyer Beware, I think, is one of the actual underdog songs. I think Buyer Beware is quite good. And I'm not gonna lie, one of the reasons is I just love the way he pronounces stuff in this song. Like whenever he says, I use my money for a pack of," he goes, "I use my money for a pack of 24," and he just spreads out 20 and T, and I don't know why, it just sounds good in the song. I just think it's catchy. I think it's one of the underdog songs, and his voice just literally sounds good in it. So I'm putting this in A tier, honestly. This is one of the underdog songs, in my opinion. A lot of people probably look at this and be like, oh, that's in B tier, it's alright. I think it's an underdog song. I don't think it gets enough recognition. I think it's very catchy, and I think it comes along with how he pronounces some of the stuff in the song. Then we move on to Landmine. Now, when I first listened to Landmine, if you saw my genuine reaction, you would see that I really like this one. And I said it is a good song, but the thing I loved about it, Post Malone sounded great. His vocals sounded great. But my favorite part of the song, it gives me fucking goosebumps when the whole, like, the echo behind him that literally sounds like he's in a stadium, and every single person in that show is singing with him. They're literally all singing with him. That's what it sounds like. And I can just imagine him on tour singing that and having the entirety of the absolute stadium singing it with him word for word. That's what I imagine. And to me, this one, again, I think this is the most underrated one, probably in my opinion, because this one is absolutely fucking amazing. That little part, I just don't think that a lot of people give it as much recognition as I think it deserves. The way it just sounds like there's a crowd singing behind him sounds absolutely amazing. When it's performed live, I'm sure it'll be fucking great. Um, but yeah, Landmine is going in S tier. You probably did not expect that. Landmine's going in S tier. His vocals sound great, but the crowd, like, type of sound behind him sounds absolutely amazing, and I just want to see it performed live 100%. Now we move on to Green Thumb. This one, I think, another underdog one. This one, I'm very torn between putting it in B and A tier because Green Thumb, I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of it because it's very different. It's the one song of the album I think really sticks out. It's completely different to all the rest. And I think a lot of people don't like it because it's so slow and because it's so different to all the other songs. But that's why I like it. It's one of those ones that stands out. It's unique. And I feel like he put it on to kind of be a filler song, but I feel like to me it's more than that. Green Thumb is hard to rank because I think it's a very situational song. I think if I'm talking about that song in general, and you're probably all gonna think I'm out of my mind here. If I'm talking about Green Thumb in general as a song, I would actually put it in A tier. Now, I'm not putting it above all the other ones. It would probably be the bottom of A tier. That's what I'm making that clear. It will probably be the bottom of A tier. But I love that song. I think it sounds great. I love the difference between it and all the rest of the album. So I would, if I was just judging off the song, I'd put it in A tier. But because it's very situational, I think I have to put it in B tier. It's technically in A, it's technically in B. Judging the song completely by itself, solo, with nothing else to do with it, it's in A tier. But we're judging it based on how I think of the other songs compared to it, and it's one of those ones very situational. All the other songs in A tier and S tier I can vibe out to regardless. This one I have to be in that mood for that slower type song, so I think it has to go in B tier. Like I said, as a song, A tier compared to the rest of the album, B tier because it's situational, and that's probably how I'd rank it. And last on the album, we got Post Malone, Laugh It Off. This one, I don't really feel like there's much to say. This one is literally just, this is catchy, the chorus is good, I love the vibe it gives you. It's one of those ones that you just listen to it and you can either sing along or you can sit back, you can relax. The chorus is catchy, the vibe's great. I love all that. I love some of the lyrics, and it's just honestly one of those ones that I listen to and I'm like, this is a good song. This is a good song. But although I think it's a good song, I don't think it compares to some of the ones in A tier. So I'm going to have to put it in B tier. One of those songs, when it comes on, I'm excited to hear it. I vibe out to it. I fuck with the sound and I enjoy it. But when I load up the album, it's not one of the first ones that catches my eye and goes, I can't wait for that. I enjoy it when it comes on, but I don't sit there and think, I can't wait for that to come on. So that's why it's going to go in B tier. That's the thing. Some of the ones in B tier, I would probably put in A tier. But comparing the A tier ones, I can't, because I can't say they're on the same level. Even if they're low A tier, I can't put them on the same level just with how much I listen to some of them and how consistently I listen to some of them compared to the ones on B tier. So it's going to have to go on B tier too. But that is the end of it. Let me look over all of them. Let me see what's in what and we'll look over it. Okay, so I actually writ all the tiers down on a piece of paper so I can read them out so I know what's in what. Because looking at the tier list, I know which ones they are, but I want to actually have it down to make sure I don't make a mistake, make sure I look at the tier list and I actually like the way it looks and I agree with the way it looks before I shut it all down. But we moving on to the S tier, Reloaded. We got Chemical, we got Nova Candy, we got Morning, we got Enough Is Enough, and we got Landmine. I'm happy with that S tier. All songs I absolutely love. The ones whenever I load up the album, they're the ones I look at and they're the ones I cannot wait for. They're the top of the top. And that is just my opinion. Those are ones that I think no matter how many times I listen to them, I will never get sick of hearing them. Then we move on to A tier. We got Something Real, Sign Me Up, Social It, Hold My Breath, Buyer Beware, and Technically Green Thumb. Technically Green Thumb. I'm happy enough that those are songs that are better than the average. They're not the tippity top, but those are ones that I listen to. They're on repeat in the album, but they're not ones that I think in years and years and years to come you would list as his best songs. Some of his best, but not his top songs. Then we move on to B tier, which is the alright section. And we got Technically Green Thumb, like I said, Technically Green Thumb. I'd probably put that at the top. Um, then we got Don't Understand, Overdrive, Speedometer, Texas Tea, and Laugh It Off. Then C tier, which is not my thing, we got Nothing. And D tier, which is trash, we got Nothing. So overall, there was no bad songs on the Post Malone album. So I just moved over here to finish off this. This video is probably ages long. I'm going to try and probably shorten it down because I talked a lot, but I wanted to explain how I felt about every song before I put it on the tier list. But yeah, that is my tier list of the Post Malone album. Do you know what? I'll put it up one more time. I'll lean back. I'll put it up here somewhere. I'm almost falling off my chair. That is the tier list. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of What do you disagree with? What do you disagree with? Is there a song in S tier that you think is trash and you think it shouldn't be up there? Is there a song that you think is listed over another one and you think that's criminal that I think that? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section down below your overall thoughts of what you think, what's your tier list, what you would change, and all that. But as always, that is my tier list for Post Malone's new album. Hope y'all enjoyed. Hope y'all are thinking positive, test negative. Have an amazing day. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next one. So, peace.